America tourism is crashing. People are avoiding to go to America simply because of how America it is treating immigrant people. So kindly guys, watch this video and see how America tourism it is crashing down, and also how people they are boycotting to travel in America in this festive season. Watch this, then I'll be back with more comment.
This goes out to all my people who have plans to come to the United States or want to come travel to the United States and are like on the fence about it and don't know what to do with everything going on here. Don't come. My recommendation is to 100% boycott this country. Do not spend any money here. Do not plan any travels here. Show them that the world does not need the United States.
So I've canceled my next trip to the United States because ICE or whatever the hell it is detaining people. I mean, they detained a young Canadian for 10 days. They apparently arrested a bunch of Germans recently. They're going through people's phones. Like, this is meant to be the United States is meant to be the beacon of democracy and freedom and so forth. Well, it is anything but. This is what fascism actually looks like.
Canada and the Canadian people, your boycott on tourism in the United States explained right now. Canada and the Canadian people, let's do some hard numbers. Last year, 2024, you brought in $20 billion in money to the United States with your tourism, okay? And purchasings of stuff around the tourist industry. That's a lot. Whether you're talking about going into different national parks, you're talking about going to Disney World, anything. $20 billion last year, okay? What does that look like in the practicality? That was 140,000 jobs that were created to support you guys coming into the continental United States. What does that look like as far as we had 20 million Canadians coming into the United States. Now, I've been posting about Canada and the outcome of the boycott, and I've had hundreds of people commenting about how they're traveling to other countries to spite the boycott and make sure they didn't spend their money in the United States.
So y'all know them travel advisory reports that the United States loves to push out, basically telling us to not go to certain places because they're violent or it's not safe. Yeah, so the Department of Commerce has now issued a report showing a growing list of countries advising their citizens to not come to the United States, to not come and visit the United States. Yeah, now we are not the safe country.
So I'd like to talk just for a few moments about travel economics, especially how it affects the United States of America. So I think Canada started. We started a boycott where we started to say no to travel to the United States. And as the months has gone by, that travel boycott has increased here in Canada, but also around the world. People are saying no to visiting the United States of America. We all already know that the mayor of Las Vegas, for example, has done a press conference where she's literally pleading for Canadians to come back to Las Vegas because the downturn is having such a drastic effect on Las Vegas. We know that Disney has struggled too in regards to some of its numbers. People are not visiting the United States anywhere near they were before Donald Trump took office, and there's a number of reasons for this. Of course, there's the 51st state thing, the aggression from the United States, the aggression from the Trump administration, ICE raids, turning up to the country and not knowing if your passport's going to be accepted or not. So much uncertainty, and we're now starting to see the effects thereof, not just on sales and sales declines, but now we're starting to see job losses. We're seeing local industries, for example, in Maine and Vermont and Connecticut saying, we need help, we're really struggling, there's not enough tourists coming in.
While MAGA diehards keep chanting, "We don't care," every time someone points out the cost of Donald Trump's policies, international tourists are quietly delivering the one response that matters in Trump's America, which is they're not coming to the United States for vacations. We have new data now from the World Travel and Tourism Council. The U.S. is on track to lose over $12 billion in international travel spending this year. That's a decline of 7%. It's not because suddenly the sand on the beaches is no good. It's not because the theme parks got rid of everybody's favorite ride. It's because the rest of the world sees what the United States under Donald Trump has become: expensive, hostile, and unstable. And they're voting with their passports.
So United States tourism is plummeting in the billions of dollars, that is. And you know how folks often tell international communities how much they need our tourism dollars? A lot of Americans forget that their own cities thrive off of tourism. In 2023 alone, the United States travel and tourism market contributed to $2.36 trillion. And the cities and states that rely heavily on hotel taxes, sales taxes, and other tourism related fees, less tourism for you means less funding in education, transit, and infrastructure in your city or state.
America faces a tourism crisis in 2025. Foreign visitors choose safer, easier destinations. The last time I checked at the actual numbers of cancellations to the United States, it was over 1 million foreign travelers, both business travelers and people coming for fun. About a month ago, it was predicted that we were going to lose almost $13 billion in tourism alone in the United States of America.
Mexico is reaping the benefits of a U.S. travel boycott. According to the Financial Times, Canadian travel to the U.S. dropped over 13%. It's projected to drop even further. And that's not a fluke. Canadians are intentionally boycotting the United States over Trump's policies. Instead, they're heading south. Travel to Mexico being up more than 15%, and searches for places like Cancun, Sayulita, and Mexico City skyrocketing. Mexico's tourism secretary literally said Canadians are choosing friendlier policies. And airlines are listening. They're pulling back flights to the US and adding new ones to Mexico. And it's not just Canadians. People all over the world are ditching US travel. Flights to the US have already dropped nearly 25% this year alone. They just do not want to support the United States right now, and for good reason.
Boycott that we're currently receiving in the United States from Canadians. I know most of you may not be feeling this or may not see it yet, completely unaware because you don't see it in your daily life. But just let me tell you this. I had a couple of riders this week, both from Toronto. Both are coming down to see family. One had a newborn baby in the family and the trip had been scheduled for a while. And the other had a sick family member that they needed to come see. And they both told me basically these stories. Number one, that when they went to the airport, that the U.S. Customs, and for Canada, you get on the U.S. Customs and Canada, that there was like nobody in line, and that both planes were like half full as opposed to being completely full. And usually there's a 2-hour wait or more that they told me. They also told me that because of Donald Trump, and because of his tariffs with Canada and the way that they have been treated by Trump, they are boycotting every single product in Canada that is made in the United States. You can go to the grocery stores in Canada and there would be where the U.S. products, for example, Lay's potato chips and all the chips and all the stuff from the U.S. completely full.
Vegas is dead. The rumors are true. Visitation is down. And there's really nobody around except a few corporate events going on here and there, corporate meetings. But yeah, it is kind of dead here, I'm gonna have to admit.
Las Vegas is in a lot of trouble, and I think I can tell you why in a way that's not like the other videos. I hope that I tell this in a way that enough people can really hear this story. I moved to Las Vegas during the first financial recession, 2009. And my first night here, I stayed at the Excalibur. When I was here, I stopped as soon as I got to Las Vegas, I stopped at a Terrible's gas station, and this woman looked at me. I must have looked so frightened. And she was like, "Honey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I just moved here." She's like, "Well, let me know if you need anything." And I just thought that was so cool. And yeah, eventually I found a place to stay, and eventually I found a job. It was really, really tough. I would not tell you to move to Las Vegas right now. It's going to be tough to get a job. Tougher than then. Tougher than it was. But I love this town, and I explored every part of this town. I've been to every corner of every casino, whether that's local or on the Strip. I've been inside every casino. I've done every cheesy attraction you can go to. Like the M&M's place, the chocolate fountain at the Bellagio, the 7 Magic Mountains, everything you could do, the Atomic Museum. And I always felt welcome in the halls of casinos in this town. It was affordable. If you played in the casino, you were treated well, you got comps, you got things from them. And I would go to shows at like the Mandalay Bay. I would go to shows at like MGM, T-Mobile Arena. I remember I went to a concert at the Mandalay Bay. It was like $50. I didn't pay for parking. And then we had dinner afterwards. It was like $25 for dinner to do that. It was like truly a magical. And like for a good 10 years of my life, if you asked me anything about Las Vegas, I could tell you like every little fact and weird little part of every fact. 3 days after I went to Las Vegas, Oscar Goodman, the mob lawyer, comes up to me, "Welcome to Las Vegas." And this town was so magical to me. All of the parts of it. Red Rock, Ethel M's Chocolate Factory, Lake Las Vegas, all of these things I got to experience. And I'm so grateful for that. And it felt like a different universe and a different time. But I could not imagine that now. I could not imagine as a local going to a casino on the Strip, whether that was parking or how I would be treated or the lack of really any incentive to go. It's so prohibitively expensive and the energy has changed and it is not welcoming and hospitable. We have become hostile to the people that built this town. And it's sad. It's very sad. And the reason is because our leaders have sold us out. The leaders over the last 20 years, they've done very well for themselves, but they have sold us out. And it has really stolen the magic of this town. I drove up the 15 today on a Thursday night and there was no traffic. This town is in a lot of trouble.
So guys, I hope you have watched that video and you have seen how people, they are boycotting to go to America. Right now, I can tell you that American tourism, it is falling down, it is crashing, and the people who are really sad, it is the Maga people, simply because of these people voting for this administration. We have been seeing some of the other countries, they have been advising their citizens not to go to America. The countries like Canada, Mexican, we have been seeing they've been advising their citizens not to go to America, and also some of the countries from Africa, they have been advising also their citizens don't travel to America. So right now, majority of people, they are boycotting to go to America simply because of how America it is treating immigrant people. Since Donald Trump came into office, we have been seeing a decrease of America tourism, because the tourism, it has been going down, and right now they are now feeling the pain of not having so many tourism in their country. You know, America, it is always making a lot of money from the tourist area, from the tourism area, but this time around they have lost billions from the tourist area, simply because of how we have been seeing how ICE, they have been detaining illegal immigrant people. You have been seeing how ICE, they have been deporting people. Even they are deporting people, but some of them, they are deporting people not to their country, to some of the other country, because of how ICE, they are treating migrant people, and the rest of the world, they have been watching. Majority of people, they are now boycotting to go to America, and this, it has also started to bring America economy down, and the people who are really suffering, it is those people who are working in the tourism area. We have been seeing majority of them coming out crying they don't have work, how they don't know how they can feed their people, because the tourists, they are not showing in their cities. You can see the cities like Florida, the cities like Las Vegas. We have been seeing these cities becoming empty simply because of also people not going, not visiting this city. And we have been seeing a lot of Canadians, they have been going to America in the festive season, like this Christmas. We have been seeing a lot of Canadians that have been going to America to enjoy their Christmas, but this time round they are not going to America. And also, I've been seeing some videos of also Black Americans coming out and telling them and telling the MAGA people that we are also boycotting Christmas. So this, it is making MAGA people to be furious, to be angry, because they are going to lose a lot. So guys, apart from that, I want us also to see what are some of the things also which it is making people to boycott America, or the tourism not going to America, or tourism, US tourism going down. So let's see, as number one, it is stickers, visa policy and higher cost. A new visa integrity fee of $250 for non-visa waiver countries is being introduced, raising total visa cost of $452 for some visitors. You can imagine. Also, they are waiving a new visa integrity fee. So this new visa integrity fee, it is also making people not to go to America. And also, and this I say that more visa scrutiny, longer processing time, and a tougher entry experience are deterring potential tourism. And also you can see another reason, it is also more visa scrutiny, longer processing time. Also, America visa security and processing, scrutiny and processing, it is longer time, and people also, they might wonder if they will be accepted, even if they will be accepted, or when they are applying American visa. This was saying. And also the second is negative political climate and heroic. Trade tension, tariff, and America first policy have strained relationship with major countries like Canada, China, and part of Europe. Reports of detention at the border and perceived hostility towards foreigners are damaging the U.S. image as a welcoming place. You can see also how Americas, they introduce trade tension tariff, how they introduce tariff to some countries like Canada, China, and part of Europe, and also how they are how the reports of detention at the border. We have been seeing how people that have been detained at the border. Also, it has also make America to lose more tourists. This another one, it is saying that negative global sentiment. Some potential visitors just feel uneasy about traveling to US because of policy instability or controversial policy. Rising travel costs. So let's see rising travel costs. The US dollar is stronger, which make the trip more expensive for many foreigners, tourists. Exactly. Another reason is how their dollar, it is very strong, and because of the dollar becoming very strong, it is making the trip more expensive. Yeah, it makes the trip more expensive, and many foreigners to many foreigners. So general cost, hotel, food, transport in the USA are relatively high compared to some competitive destination, and also the cost of living right now also, it is very high in America. And another one, it is safety and perception issue. Concern about safety, particularly gun violence, are reportedly making some travelers think twice. Yeah, gun violence in America, is there any week can go in America without hearing a case of gun violence? So also gun violence, also it has really make some of the traveler to think twice. There is also a border reputation issue, unfavorable media coverage, political polarization, and negative stories abroad are making the USA less appealing. Economic consequence and job risk. The decline in tourists is having a real economic impact. Fewer tourism means less spending on lodging, dining, attraction. If the trend continue, it could lead to job loss in the travel and hospitality sector. Exactly. So right now we have started to see also some Maga people, people who are working in the tourist areas. They've started to lose their majority of them. They have started to lose their jobs because of people avoiding to go to America. So let me just read some of the comment here and see what people that are just coming out and say. This was saying that it's not just Canadian. Globally, the USA is seen spiraling into a dictatorship and unsafe place to be. So this one saying that is a Canadian. Is saying that America, it is seen globally that unsafe place for tourists to go right now. So this one saying that as a Canadian, I didn't need a travel advisory to know to avoid 21st century facsimile of Germany 1935, we share the same 24 hours news cycle. The democratic decline and authoritarian rise was always on full display. And how you are testing Nax again. This one saying that, sorry, but who the F want to visit a fascist authoritarian nation that make Gilead book like a summer cup in function USA. So you can see these are most of them that are Canadian here. I will never set foot in the US again. So this one saying that I live in Australia and I have decided not to travel to America, especially due to political issue going on there. Exactly. So right now, with the political issues going on in America, people, they are also avoiding to go to America. So kindly guys, you can also share your thoughts on the comment section. I'll be reading it on my next video. Thank you so much guys. Subscribe if you haven't liked this video, share and also comment. See you on my next one guys. Bye bye.